Imagine walking down a street paved with stories, churches that survived typhoons, words in our tongues that we say without thinking, and names on maps that whisper of far-off kings. For more than 3 centuries, the archipelago we call home was reshaped by a power across the ocean. Today, we'll uncover the untold legacy of Spanish rule in the Philippines, the visible buildings, the hidden systems, and the surprising ways Spanish rule in the Philippines still touches daily life. Stay with me for the next 5 minutes. What you think you know about colonial history might change, and you'll discover pieces of Philippine history that were quietly woven into who we are. If you love history that surprises and connects to now, you're in the right place. Spanish colonization began in the 1500s and lasted over 300 years. It wasn't a single story of conquest. It was a long, messy process of trade, religion, local alliances, and resistance. From the first ships that crossed the Pacific to the last echoes of Spanish rule in the Philippines, this period left marks both obvious and subtle. Look up and you'll see it. Baroque churches, town plazas framed by government buildings, and stone walls in old towns. These aren't just aesthetic leftovers. Spanish colonial urban planning introduced the plaza complex, a central square where church, government, and market met. That layout shaped social life, public festivals, governance, and even protest culture. Many of our provincial centers still follow that pattern. So when you walk into a plaza, you're stepping into a design shaped by centuries-old decisions. Filipino languages absorbed thousands of Spanish loanwords, from food and religion to everyday items. Words like mesa, silla, and trabajo entered daily speech. But more than vocabulary, Spanish rule in the Philippines introduced new bureaucratic terms and family naming systems that affect how we record identity today. Many Filipino surnames, the civil registry, and even certain legal terms trace back to policies enacted under Spanish rule. One of the most visible legacies is religion. Catholicism changed rituals, holidays, and rhythms of community life. But conversion wasn't just imposition, it was also adaptation. Indigenous beliefs mixed with Catholic traditions to form unique local practices, fiestas, santo veneration, and rituals that blend older customs with new forms. These hybrid traditions reveal resilience and creativity, not simple replacement. Spanish economic systems introduced haciendas, encomiendas, and new tax structures. Large landholdings and centralized control of trade set economic patterns that, in many places, continued into the modern era. These systems helped create unequal land distribution and social hierarchies that fueled later social movements. Understanding Spanish colonization helps explain why some regions developed differently and why land reform became such a long-fought issue. History isn't only about rulers, it's about those who resisted. Local uprisings, religious revolts, and ultimately the Philippine Revolution were responses to decades of change and grievances. Memory of resistance lives in local stories, names of heroes, and celebrations that honor those struggles. Recognizing resistance is essential to seeing Spanish rule in the Philippines as a contested, living history, not a uniform tale. Spanish administration set up schools, courts, and a legal framework that influenced later systems. The idea of public education, though limited at first, spread under Spanish institutions. Some legal codes and administrative practices were adapted by succeeding governments. Even today, traces of those structures remain in our institutions and legal vocabulary. Beyond monuments and laws, the legacy appears in everyday things, recipes that mix indigenous and Spanish ingredients, surnames, family festivals, and the structure of many towns. These small threads create continuity. They're why history feels personal for many families. So what do we do with this? We don't romanticize or erase. We learn to honor resilience, understand inequalities, and appreciate cultural creativity born from difficult encounters. The legacy of Spanish rule in the Philippines is complicated, part architecture, part language, part law, and deeply human. If you found this eye-opening, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into Philippine history. Share this video with a friend who loves history or whose family stories might connect to these threads. Comment below with one Filipino word or place that made you curious. I'll read the best ones in the next video. Thanks for watching, keep asking questions, and I'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more history that matters.